What is up, everybody? I felt compelled to do a little stock research. I come from a research background, so stick with me here. It's going to be the fastest 10 minutes of your life. I'm going to keep it to 10 minutes because that is where my attention span usually lays. When I watch something, I usually can't make it to 10 minutes unless it's very compelling. So I'm going to try and make this as compelling as possible. I've been dropping teasers on the short videos of commodities, stocks. I also put out a survey. And the most popular response was people wanted to see stocks, and second most was commodities. So I'm going to stick to that formula. I'm going to bring you some stocks today to watch. And I want to caveat this because I know I have some new listeners, new people coming along this journey with me, is that in 2026, I expect a bubble to pop. Okay. I don't know when. Maybe December 2026, maybe May, maybe June 2026. I don't know. I'm not God. But what I can do is I can position myself for the upside of AI, tech, data center revolution. And then I can also take profits into those moves. And if they don't move up, I can cut losses. So what I'm going to be telling you today is a follow-up on my portfolio management video that I just released, and I'm going to link it here. And so anything that I tell you about, like, oh, this looks like an interesting investment, or it's basically to say of your diversified portfolio, of your CFA level diversified portfolio, whereas 65% are stocks, 25% are bonds, 10% are commodities, real estate, investment trusts, and other. These investments, if you want to buy them, they should be no more than 3% of your portfolio, no more than that. So if you have a $100 portfolio, buy $3 of Applied Digital or $3 of Equinix, if that's something that interests you. I'm going to be going over Applied Digital today because Nvidia has a direct stake in it. I'm also going to be going over Vertiv, no direct stake from Nvidia, but a partnership. What are these companies? Well, these are AI data center companies. And I did a little bit of research. You're going to see a lot of blank space on my screen. I did a little research, and the blank space I haven't gotten to yet, but for Vertiv and Applied Digital, both are listed on either the NASDAQ or the NYSE, the New York Stock Exchange. I prefer NASDAQ just because it's tech heavy, and I prefer stocks that have Nvidia exposure, but have a lower market cap, okay? So Applied Digital has an 8.92 billion market cap. Well, you might think that's high. Actually, it's high. 8.2 billion is a lot of money. But in the grand scheme of things, Nvidia is 3.5 trillion. So if you're a winner with Nvidia in a stake in a data center, you can pretty much be assured that you're going to be a winner. I'm not saying you're going to be a winner into a crash. You'll probably nuke into a crash, right? So if Nvidia crashes next year in December, all these stocks that I'm telling you, they're going to nuke with it. They're not going to be resistant. I actually picked out the arrow down here, some safer AI plays that won't nuke as much. So I'll go over those. I'll go over a little bit, but that's a long introduction, so I don't want to bore you. So let's just get right into it. Applied Digital, really cool website, right? The epicenter of AI built here. It doesn't look like a shitcoin to me. It looks like Nvidia is an investor in this enterprise. And as you could see, capacity is our best asset. They're building out, they're producing data centers, things to have capacity so that AI can be delivered to the human race in a very sustainable way. Because if you interact with AI or ChatGPT or Grok, they remember what you tell them. That's data. So that has to be stored in a data center, right? So that's the logic behind that. And if we look at Applied Digital, let's go on a 5-year, it's got a pretty good chart. Well, if I'm going to look at a chart, I'm going to go here, right? I'm going to go to the trading view. But let's look at some of the statistics. Let's verify what I'm saying as truth. 8.7 billion cap, beta of 7.1. That means it's super high risky. Okay, EPS negative, that's common from Nvidia investment. If Nvidia is going to invest in you, they're investing in the future. I'm not worried that their earnings per share is negative and that they have a cap of 8.7 billion. That's fine. Usually biotechs have negative EPS and have a cap of 2 billion. So if a biotechs are usually shitcoins. If a biotech shitcoin is 2 billion and has a negative EPS, I'm going with my Nvidia play here of Applied Digital. And if we look on the chart, I just put up the fib retracement and fib extensions. It's had a nice little run here in 2022 to now. And of course, everything's kind of mooning since April on the back of AI. So I wouldn't go chase moves. I mean, if you could get a 50% pullback from 40 at like 21. So right now it's at 31. I would say 25, a sweet spot to buy this would be 24 to 28. Okay. And then obviously you're not buying with your entire portfolio. Like I said, you're holding it for if Nvidia keeps going up and AI keeps evolving. We are in an AI bubble, by the way, so I do want to put that out there for you. But we are capitalists, we are traders, we are investors. We want to capitalize on this bubble. So I got my E-Trade up somewhere. I was looking to buy this thing this morning, just 20 shares, something to get my feet wet. I'm not going to go all in on my first purchase. I'm looking for $20, $24, right around the 0.50 fib retracement. And our price target could be like on a super bubble, like $100. That's a nice round level, for people, retail like me or institutions like Goldman to get out at 2.618, right? So the market cap of 8 billion is a sweet spot for me. That's why I'm giving that to you here and now today. And we go back to our crazy shit spreadsheet, and we'll go over to Vertiv, which, let's verify this 448 billion. It does have earnings. Analysts put it as strong buy. It's a power and cooling leader. So I like that hyperscaler builder, that data center builder. And then there's not just data centers, there's power and cooling centers, right? So I'm learning about this too with you guys. I'm not an AI expert. I do have capital markets and macro experience for 20 years, so I can sift through year-to-date returns, market cap, forward PE, et cetera, very quickly. And then I can realize that Corning, Broadcom, and Dell, and Micron have all been around since I've been around. I started at the Board of Trade in 1997 as a freshman in college when the Board of Trade was still around and the CME was still around. And then I went to the upstairs on the trading screens, and that's where I was getting introduced to Corning, Broadcom, Dell, Micron, and I would trade those stocks as a young kid. So those aren't going anywhere. In fact, I did some research here. Avgo, which used to be BRCM, Broadcom, dropped only half as much as the NASDAQ dropped in COVID 2019, 2020, and then 2022 because the hyperscalers and enterprises never cut custom AI chips or networking orders. So that's like resistant. I love that. Whereas if Nvidia nukes 50%, these can nuke 75%. But they can also go up much, much higher than Nvidia. So going to Vertiv, so we see the market cap is 72 billion. Yep, that's right. We verified that. The beta is a little bit lower, so a little bit less risk. The PE ratio is high to me. It's not as high as Tesla's PE, which is 400. But the PE of 71 is high. You're looking for I'd like a 30 PE with a growth stock, right? And then if we go over to its chart, ad blocker detected, I don't care. Yeah, I mean, here's the tariff stuff. So that's like the idea buy. So like here it had a nice pullback. I wouldn't be buying it. It could run. So let's just do a really quick fib retracement. We'll go top to bottom and we'll say, yeah, I wouldn't be buying this. Not here. You got to wait for a retracement. So if you like this content, like, subscribe, share, turn notifications on to all, and then comment, maybe you have an idea for me. You want to see me analyze something on one of these long form videos? Comment in the comments and we will tackle that stuff together because I do technical, I do fundamental, I even do some astrology because the billionaires watch that shit. So my specialty is I do fundamentals. I look at the PE. Most people on YouTube, most financial gurus don't do that. So leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. What's your favorite AI? What's your favorite data center? Your energy coolant play, and we can go on and dissect this stuff together. Dissect it and vivisect it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you made it to the end. Comment 1 million, and you will get $1 million reward.